Though, so for my internship, I work for the Maryland Office of the Public Defender. It was really an incredible job. I had so many really awesome, unparalleled experiences working directly with clients and getting into court, and I really enjoyed it. Absolutely would definitely consider going back last summer, and I feel like I really got a lot out of it, and I think it really played to a lot of my strength really well, which was nice. But I did also develop a lot of new skills as well. I learned a lot about legal writing and research, which were things I'd done a lot of research in the past, but never really done legal writing or legal research. Being able to do that firsthand and have attorneys give me direct feedback was just unparalleled and really awesome. Beyond that, I was also able to learn a lot more about communication with clients with violent crimes. Again, I dealt with some client communication in the past, but I never talked directly with clients accused of violent crimes, and especially ones with mental disorders. And I think talking with them made me realize just how important it is to help these people and the fact that there really is a lot of sympathy there. And I think that was another positive insight of that. I also developed a lot of skills in reading through really dense trial notes and just improving general speaking and writing skills, which was really helpful. In regard to other insights from the job, beyond just the importance of helping clients and that clients are more complicated than just evil or horrible people, for the most part, yeah, there's really always a need for improvisation in trial. The law is very complicated. Trials can ebb and flow. Certain things might not be allowed into evidence. Some witnesses may not say what you expect. Sometimes the other attorney may be better than you expected, and you sort of need to be able to improvise really quickly. And I think that's something that's really important for the law. At least for a lot of the trials I was in, I would help to directly help out attorneys improvise. And there was one time where I had to rewrite a closing in 2 hours because a lot of the content of it was completely irrelevant because a certain witness never showed up. So I think it's just really important for trials, particularly criminal defense trials. Then also the justice system is really imperfect. Despite what television shows, media, and the law states, juries are easily swayed by non-legal personal issues. A lot of times statements that are struck that can be really incriminating or prejudicial might still influence the jury, and that can really influence the outcome. And finally, this is, I think was my biggest insight, is that everyone really deserves a strong defense. I feel as though even for people who may almost certainly have committed a crime, they still need someone to come and advocate them for them in trial, and I think that's really important. I know the internship did also lead me to a few questions. First, if I want to do defense work long term, at least for public defense, I recognize that doing this work long term outside of an internship setting would be extremely demanding for very little pay. Also does create a lot of ethical dilemmas when you have to stand up in trial and advocate for someone, and that's not something I'm sure I could do. I'm not really sure if I could defend a client if I knew they committed a heinous crime. That's honestly something I can only speculate about, but I'd really have to think about it when it happened. I know I certainly would be more than happy to defend a client who I didn't think committed a crime, but when it comes to someone who did, especially when the crime's particularly heinous or disturbing, I'm not sure if I could do that. No, as for my goals and habits, I definitely feel as though I learned a lot of lessons from pursuing my goals this semester. First, I think some of my goals were maybe under ambitious or maybe over ambitious. For example, I really wanted to focus on improving my cooking this summer. I've never really been the best of chefs. I definitely, that skill is really great to have just to save some money and also make it a bit easier to live. I said I would only cook a meal once a week in my goals after week three. That was probably a little bit of a low ball. I was able to cook a lot more than that, so I definitely want to continue doing that later on and also just maybe up my goals. But I also think some of them, particularly the goal with getting a cultural experience with friends once a week, probably wasn't realistic. Because I was busy all 5 days of the work week and my weekends were pretty jam packed. I wasn't really able to do that anywhere near as much as I wanted, so that was definitely a disappointment and something that I'll maybe try to improve next semester. But I also recognize that it's not realistic to make that goal and almost trivializes some of the experiences. Another thing I've kind of realized is I've been trying to focus a lot on my physical health beyond personal health. Beyond my public defender internship, I was also dealing with law school applications and prepping and taking the LSAT, and so that kind of limited how much time I could go to the gym. Kind of noticed that it was sort of starting to affect my mental health. I was feeling a lot more tired, a lot less energy, and so I tried to go to the gym a lot more, and I've realized how important that is for physical health. Then finally, I think when you pair the conversation, curiosity conversations with my experience, it's just made me realize that I really need to regularly check in on improve my resume. That was one of my key goals for my final habits for next fall. Even though once a month may not seem like a lot, just being able to update it with new relevant experiences, maybe updating some wording, showing it to a few other people is going to be really helpful, especially as I apply for jobs this summer. And in the end, it really is important to focus on the presentation yourself. That's something that all three curiosity conversations actually emphasize. You need to be able to present yourself, and for a lot of job applications, the resume is really the first thing that people see. So I recognize that it's really important to do that, and I think that's something that I've learned really well from both the curiosity conversations and just taking this class.